We begin tonight with the German Chancellor, because booed at times, receiving a standing ovation at others. Today, Angela Merkel stood before European politicians and leaders and delivered her vision for the future of Europe, a future without the UK and with stronger European unification and a European army. This was Merkel's first message to the European Union since announcing that she was leaving politics after her current term. Now let's take a look at what she had to say.
The times when we could rely on others are past. This means that we as Europeans now have to really take our fate fully into our own hands. We have to work on a vision of one day creating a real, true European army. I'm not saying anything against NATO. Of course not. We can be a good supplement to NATO. And if we could work together and pool our efforts together, then we could work together with NATO, with a European army. I'm really pleased about this. This is great. I'm annoying some people. Nationalism and egotism should no longer have a position in Europe. But tolerance and solidarity represent our common future. And, colleagues, it is well worth fighting for them. Thank you.
Well, you heard a lot of applause there and some booing in the crowd, because with the call for a European army, this certainly caught Nigel Farage's attention. And here is what he had to say in response to Angela Merkel's speech.
The idea that this new militarized union is somehow a recipe for peace, I suggest you all sit back and think a little bit more carefully. Maybe you should all reread history. The European project was set up to stop German domination. What you've seen today is a naked takeover bid.
I mean, it was a really fun session to watch today. And this is, Angela Merkel is known for her steady hand, being very serious, not tugging at heartstrings or appealing to loyalties. But today it seemed like there was a different Angela Merkel up on the stage. Have you ever seen her like that? Did it feel like because she's no longer going to be there, she's almost unleashed?
Well, for me, she was giving a nice European speech. This is what I expected. What she committed herself to is, yes, I am a pro-European. Yes, I would like also to lead the German government to also in the future contribute to the development. But she didn't really answer one of the real questions at stake, which are crucial. So take, for example, migration and the asylum package. This House, the European Parliament, passed an asylum package months and months ago, which is blocked in the Council. No word about this, how to unblock with the ministers, with the heads of state and government on this important file. We have to proceed with the deepening of the monetary union, and we have to intensify the economic collaboration. No decisive hint how to doing that in the near future.
Indeed, she was calling for a lot more Europe, and that part is not new. But the way that she was
very vague.
Yeah. What do you think, David? Seeing Angela Merkel like this it's almost like a rallying cry.
Well, I would really like to commend the Chancellor and her speech today. She laid out a clear vision of how she sees the future of the European Union. She covered all the main issues we are discussing in European politics, and the applause at the end of her speech across party lines showed that a huge majority of colleagues supported what she had to tell us.
And to Udo's point, you brought up migration. I mean, this is one of the key issues in her recent leadership that's going to mark her leadership. She admitted that it was a mistake, that she should have listen to others because it was a burden that has to be shared.
Well, the problem is also, if you look at the party family she is in, we do not know who is the PPE anymore, because we have the pro-European stance of Commission's President Juncker. We have a nice speech about the European future, but we also have Mr. Kurz in Austria. He turns his back on the United Nations migration efforts. And on the other hand, you have Orban, who publicly is permanently disgracing foreigners and refugees. So we do not know who the PPE is and how a more homogeneous position of the most important party family in the House can come into existence.
All right. I mean, there are a lot of MEPs were watching this, her speech today. Let's go to our political editor, Darren McCaffrey, because he has been speaking to MEPs about what they think about what Angela Merkel has brought to the table. Darren.
What I think is extraordinary, Tessa, about Angela Merkel in many regards is just how long she's been around for. She's been around as Chancellor of Germany before things like iPhones or Facebook were really ever heard of. And for most MEPs, she's been the only German Chancellor they've known since they were at least elected into that position. So I think there was a sense, at least, of respect for her, considering how successful her career has been. And while, as you say, I'd reckon I was there, about 80% of MEPs did give her a standing ovation at the start and the end of her speech. Not everyone was on the same page. There were those boos and jeers, and that is certainly the mood that I found when I spoke to MEPs today about what they thought of Angela Merkel.
I believe that she definitely is a remarkable personality. However, my feeling has always been that she is too much embedded in the 90s.
Well, on the one hand, she has done a lot to try to keep the club together. And, sadly, she has also contributed to split the union.
She's going to quit, and I'm glad for that, because she opened Pandora's box and see what's happening.
Even though I'm a socialist, I have to say that I have a lot of admiration for Angela Merkel, because she is a very strong pro-European leader.
Well, she certainly helped Brexit. I'm going to thank her this afternoon. I'm going to say a big British thank you, because David Cameron came with a begging bowl. She gave him absolutely nothing, no concessions whatsoever. We looked at that. We looked at a German-dominated Europe. We looked at the migrant side, and we said, you know what? We'll vote for Brexit.
I think Angela Merkel really has been the grown-up in the room through some of the biggest crises that the EU has faced in recent years. I think she's been a very welcome voice also on immigration and nationality. She's actually stuck to her promises in terms of how Germany has provided leadership.
Well, Angela Merkel, I think, represents what a true European leader is. She embodies values, and she has taken decisions which were difficult, and when it would have been so much more politically expedient not to do so.
So you think she'll be missed? She still has the power to write her own heritage.
Nobody can stay at the top forever. For her, in terms of her own historical legacy, it's a sad end.
Of course she will be missed. Definitely by me and all my country.
I am not the greatest fan, I have to say.
I'm very reticent about seeing her say goodbye. I think she's been a force for good.
Everyone, of course, at the end of the day can also be replaced, I hope, with the same strong voice as she was.
Okay, everybody's replaceable, goodness me. It's a great German phrase, everything has an end except for sausages, which have two.
I think what was interesting, though, Tessa, is what united MEPs is this sense that when Angela Merkel does leave the political stage, that she will be missed, whether for good or for bad. But I think MEPs are also divided on how long will this German Chancellor stay in her job, and what opportunity does she still have to change and to shape Europe. Many I spoke to today think that there is no way that she will actually stay on to the end of her term, and that she could well be out of office within the next year.
All right, thank you for that, Darren McCaffrey. I'll put that to you, David. Is she going to be able to last till the end of her current term? I mean, I just want to bring this. 2/3 of Germans think that she should probably